Hello everybody, today is 30th of October. My name is Sahil and welcome to the newspaper analysis. Guys, first of all, let's have a look on today's quote for our GS folder. Today we will be taking a quote from the John Stuart Mill, the English philosopher and a political thinker. He had said that the bad men need nothing more to compass their ends than that good men should look on and do nothing. So, Mill has provided that the apathy of the good citizens provides more leverage to the bad men in order to pursue their ulterior motives. Therefore, an active participation by the good citizens in dispelling the various forms of corruptions, various form of mismanagements is very much important. Guys, we will utilize this particular quote into the GS paper number 4. So guys, that's it, and now let's take today's newspaper analysis. Now guys, first of all, let's see the overview of the newspaper articles that we will be taking up today. Now guys, first of all, you can join our Telegram group. There I every day provide the infographics, the handwritten notes that I'm using into the video. Moreover, the PDF as well as the MCQ questions are also provided there. The link for the Telegram has been given into the description box. Now, the first article that we are taking is from the Hindu newspaper, and it talks about the new commission that has been made to tackle the NCR pollution. Then guys, the next article has been taken from the Business Standard. It is also onto the similar lines. Recently, the government had brought an ordinance to manage the air quality. Then guys, a similar thing has been there into the Indian Express also. So combinedly, we'll be seeing all this thing. Then guys, the next article I have taken from the Mint, and it is talking why the Indian inflation is at such high levels. Then guys, the next article again has been taken from the Mint, and it gives some very good references which can be utilized into the GS paper number 2 as well as essay. Then guys, this particular article I had taken from the Hindu newspaper. It talks about the recent attack which has happened into the France, and guys, then the relations between the Turkey and France, why they are deteriorating so much, will be taking up this also. Then guys, the next article has been taken from the Live Mint, and it is providing what is the modern monetary theory. Guys, very good insight has been given. We'll be taking up this. Then guys, the next article has been taken from the Indian Express. It is talking about the recent report that has been released by the Pratham NGO. Then guys, this particular article has been taken from the Hindu. It is also onto the similar lines. So guys, these are the articles that we will be taking up today, and now let's see them into the details. Now, guys, taking up the first news article, this I had taken from the Business Standard as well as from the Hindu newspaper. Now, guys, this particular news pertains to the recently passed ordinance by the central government for tackling up the pollution into the Delhi NCR. Now, just a few days back, we had seen that for the first time, the government was exploring to bring a central legislation onto this particular regard, and now finally it has been brought out. Now, first of all, the name of the ordinance is Commission for Air Quality Management in NCR and Adjoining Areas Ordinance 2020. Guys, we know that the ordinance can be passed by the President of India under Article number 123 when one house or both the houses of Parliament are not in session. And guys, we know that once the ordinance has been issued, the maximum life of an ordinance can be 6 months and the 6 weeks. 6 months because guys, there is a constitutional mandate that the house should be meet within the maximum of the 6 months, and once the house has met within the 6 weeks, ordinance has to be considered. So the maximum life of an ordinance is the 6 months and 6 weeks. Now guys, into this particular ordinance, a statutory authority has been created to tackle the air pollution, and this is the first time that this particular thing has happened. Earlier guys, there was the Environmental Pollution Prevention and Control Authority, which was created in 1998 after the Supreme Court's various judgments that the center government should take some steps to control the pollution. For example guys, into the MC Mehta judgment, Supreme Court directed that the central government should constitute an authority, and the EPCA was made in 1998. However, over the years we had seen that EPCA has not done anything substantial, and now as a new statutory body has been created, it will supersede the EPCA. EPCA will now not be existing. Guys, earlier we had seen that the EPCA used to issue the graded response action plan, which will be coming when the the pollution increases. As a part of this GRAP, there could be the directions can be given, for example the ban onto the diesel generators, the ban onto the construction, and all such kind of things. Now this new body which will be coming, it has the power that it can issue the fines up to 1 crore rupees or the jail up to 5 years if anybody is violating the guidelines given by the authority to curb the pollution. Now guys, this particular new agency, it will be having the 18 members. There will be one chairperson which will be onto the rank of the secretary to the central government. Moreover guys, it is a very high powered body. There are members from 7 of the ministries which are aligned, which are related with the pollution and all such things. Moreover guys, there is also the representatives from the state government. 5 states will be sending their representatives, that is the Delhi, Rajasthan, Haryana, Punjab, and Uttar Pradesh. Then guys, the specialized agencies such as the ISRO, Niti Aayog, and various NGOs, they will also be giving their expert suggestions as what can be done. And moreover guys, the most important feature is this, that guys, you know that there is the Central Pollution Control Board, which is a central level agencies, and then there are the state pollution control boards also, which enforce that how the pollution can be controlled. Now it has been said that if any of the order passed by this statutory authority, if it clashes with the CPCB or the SPCB, then their orders can be bypassed. So guys, they can supersede the CPCB as well as SPCB into these 5 states. Now guys, as this particular ordinance has been passed, there are certain viewpoints which are coming. Some of the people has appreciated this particular move, as it has been said that it is a kind of a federal exercise because the state governments are being given their representation and it is more consultative as compared to the EPCA. Moreover, it has also been said that for the first time the legislative backing has also been provided, therefore it will be much more effective. Whereas there are other group of people who had said that it is nothing but just a cosmetic change which has been done to the EPCA, and actually it might also be a defunct body. And it has been said that rather EPCA was also not a problem was the poor implementation. So it is now to be seen that whether now implementation will be there or not. So guys, this all has happened and it will be a very important topic for our GS paper number 3, pollution, environment, ecology. So guys, that's all about this particular article. Now we'll be moving to the next article. Now guys, this particular article has been taken from the Live Mint and it is a very important attachment for our GS paper number 3. Now guys, into the GS paper number 3, often the questions have been asked onto the present trends into the economy. Now, if you will see this particular graph, then guys, this particular red line, it denotes the inflation into the developed countries, and this blue line, which is also very close to this red line, it denotes the inflation into the developing countries, emerging countries. Now guys, and this gray color line, it denotes the inflation into the India, and clearly we can see that right now Indian inflation is enormously high compared to all other countries. Why this particular issue is coming, so this particular thing will be understanding here in this particular article. Now guys, when we talk about inflation, so you know the inflation means the general rise into the price in most of the commodities. See, if the price of one or two commodities increasing only, we can't call it as a inflation. So inflation is a general price rise. Now with respect to inflation guys, earlier India was not following any inflation targeting, but now in India follows the inflation targeting, and this particular thing has come after the Urjit Patel recommended for the inflation targeting. So Urjit Patel committee was constituted, and the Urjit Patel committee had said that India's inflation target needs to be 4% plus minus 2%. That is, it suggested that within this particular range, that is the minimum 2%, maximum 6%, we need to control the inflation. And the Monetary Policy Committee was also suggested, which is a 6-member committee, and it constantly monitors to keep the inflation into this particular range. Now guys, present inflation is little bit more than this 6% range. Now further guys, when we see inflation in India is calculated onto the basis of the CPI combined. Now CPI combined, it includes the CPI rural as well as the CPI urban. Now, guys, CPI is nothing but what happens. See, there will be a basket of goods. Fine, and into this particular basket, all the items will be there which a normal consumer will be using into his day to day life. Fine, guys, the base year of the CPI is 2011 2012. We will see that what was the price of buying this particular basket in 2011 and 12, and then we will see that what is the price to buy the same basket in the present year, that is 2020. So guys, if this particular basket is expensive, we can see that there is inflation, and similarly by seeing the percentage of price rise, we can also tell that what is the inflation. Now guys, when we talk about this particular basket, then guys, into this particular basket different type of goods are there, and all the type of goods have been given some weightage onto the basis of how much they are being used. Now into this basket there are the food items also. Now guys, the food items into the CPI basket, they have been given some weight. What is it? Into the rural basket, 54.18% of weight into the entire basket is from the food items. Into the urban CPI, the entire weight from the food is 36.29%, and into the combined, that is the average of both, the weight of the food items is 45.86%. And guys, as CPI combined is the official headline inflation in India, we will be seeing it. So you can see that nearly 46% of the weight is coming from the food. So guys, simply it means that if food will be expensive, the entire inflation of India will look higher, and if food is low, then entire inflation will be lower. Guys, just see this thing. In USA, the food has been given the weight of 14 to 15% only, and in India it is 46%. So India's inflation is more sensitive to the rising food prices, and right now exactly the food prices in India are very much high, due to which the entire inflation is being seen to be high. Now the question comes that why the food prices are high at this particular time. There are two most important reasons. Number one is the supply chain disruption which happened due to the lockdown. Simply the goods, they were there into the manufacturing, but they were not able to reach to the ultimate consumers, and now as the goods started to become scarce, the demand supply management broke down, and then the prices increased. After that, guys, now just you had seen that when the government was passing the agricultural bills, there were apprehension into the farmers that the MSP will be scrapped. And guys, just to dispel that apprehension, government hiked the MSP, and as the MSP was hiked, there was the ultimate increase into the consumer prices also. Moreover, guys, as new agricultural bills have been brought, government is simply withdrawing its hand into the control of the agricultural markets, and into the times to come, the agricultural market will even more be susceptible to the demand supply shock. So into the times to come, there could be another apprehension onto this particular angle also. Moreover, guys, it has been said that the emerging economies, they also see a phenomena of the wage push inflation effect. Now, what is this wage push inflation effect? See, when a country emerges rapidly, the wages or the salaries, they increase. And see, when the wage will increase, obviously that wage will increase the cost, and when the cost will increase, obviously the prices will also increase, and the inflation will be coming. Now, guys, as the wages are increasing, these particular inflations are being seen. Now, into the emerging economies around the world, in 1990s, the inflation reached to the triple digits, but now it has been stabilized to the single digits. But guys, India's case is still disturbing as the higher inflation rates are there. So guys, that's all about this particular article. I hope that you have understood. Now we'll be going to the next article. Now, friends, this particular article I have taken from the Live Mint, and it is a very good reference which you can give into your essays or into our GS paper number 2 answers relating to the democracy and the attitudes of people with respect to democracy. Now, guys, see, first of all, the population sets, they are divided in some internationally accepted genres. For example, the people who were born between 1981 to 1996, these people are called as millennials or the generation Y. Then the people who were born between 1965 to 1981, they are called as the generation X. And then the people who were born between 1944 to 1964, they are called as the baby boomers. Now guys, it has been said that the generation Y, they are now much more dissatisfied with the democracy, and a survey was done on more than 4.8 million respondents across the US, Europe, Australia, Africa, and various Asian countries also. And it has been said that into this particular block, the people, that is the Y generation, they are more disappointed by the democracy, and the reason is the inequality which had come, inequality into the wealth distribution and the income distribution. And according to them, the democracy is not a solution or an ideal political system. This particular study was conducted by the University of Cambridge. However guys, the countries such as the South Korea, as well as the countries which had actually seen the communism, their people are much more satisfied with the democracy, because according to them, the democracy had given them the liberalism, the fundamental rights which earlier they did not enjoyed. So guys, often a question comes that the coming times will be the time of the post truth, where the people's emotion will be more prominent in deciding the political outcomes. And as this post truth is becoming more vocal, there are even attempts that the democracy is being branded as something worthless. And into this particular direction, the Y generation, if it is becoming dissatisfied, then the implications are dire, because guys, this is only the generation which will be driving the future. So guys, this is one of the trend, and you can utilize it at your own convenience in either GS2 or into the essay papers. Very good attachment. So that's it. Now we'll be moving to the next article. Now guys, this particular article, it has been taken from the Hindu newspaper. Now see, just yesterday, and again an attack has happened into the France, where a person beheaded some people into a church into, and this attack has happened into the French city of Nice. Now we don't need to go into the details that how many people were killed or basically such kind of thing. Now guys, this has come just a few days after one other beheading happened into the France, when a teacher was killed because he shown some caricatures of the Prophet Muhammad. Now guys, because of this particular thing, there is two trends which are being observed. First of all, the France every day it is becoming a preferred target of the Islamic fundamentalism, and second, the equations that are being disturbed between the France and the Turkey. Fine guys, first of all, before going into this particular article guys, I had discussed the issue of the French secularism and why the French secularism is becoming the problematic thing on to 28th of October at this particular timestamp. So if you have not seen, then guys, please do see this particular attachment. Now guys, as I have discussed the two issues, that is the Islamic fundamentalism into the France, already I had covered here. Fine. Now the next issue, that is the France versus Turkey's relation. Now guys, why their relations are going down? First of all, the present confrontation, it had started majorly after the Turkey and Greece dispute. Fine. Now the Turkey's dispute with the Greece happened because of the East Mediterranean crisis. Now guys, see, the East Mediterranean, it is very rich into the mineral reserves. It has been said that more than 2 billion barrels of oil is there, and more than 4 trillion cubic meter of gas is also buried there. And guys, here the countries want to exploit such huge mineral wealth. Now guys, what happened? The Greece it along with the Italy, Egypt, Israel, Palestine, and Jordan, they made a consortium that they will explore the minerals which are buried into the East Mediterranean. Now, into this consortium, the Turkey was not included. And guys, what happened? The Turkey then joined the hands with the Libya, and they made a shared maritime zone, this one. And they said that we will also be sending our drilling vessels and will exploit the reserves here. Now the countries are saying that actually Turkey doesn't have such kind of mandate and it should not do this thing. Therefore, a round of confrontation started between the Greece versus Turkey. And guys, into this entire matter, the France backed the Greece and said that the Turkey's behavior is unilateral. So since then, the problem started to become worse between the France and the Turkey. Then guys, what happened? Just a few days back, the President Emmanuel Emmanuel Macron, the French president, he had called that the Islam should reform itself and it should be the enlightened Islamism. Now this particular thing has been taken very seriously by the Turkey, and Turkey had made a call to boycott the French goods and had made an appeal in all the Islamist countries that they all should ban the French goods. Into the retaliation, the France has called their ambassadors back from the Turkey, and this particular new round of confrontation is going on. Now, guys, the dispute can also be traced to an issue that often the President Emmanuel Macron, he had defended the Charlie Hebdo. Now, Charlie Hebdo is a controversial magazine, not actually controversial, but it is supposed to be controversial by the Islamist because it had printed the caricatures of the Prophet Muhammad earlier, and in 2015 its office was also attacked by the Al Qaeda linked terrorists. Then, guys, what had happened now after these particular new round of attacks? The President Macron had started an operation for crackdown onto the fundamentalist, and it has been said that selectively the Islamic people, they are being picked up, and even without any particular issue they are being targeted. Then, guys, the president had also often said that the right to blasphemy is an essential right to being French. Now the blasphemy means that we can ridicule any religious authority, religious symbol, and via this right to blasphemy, often the Islamist religious figures, they have been mocked by the French. Then, guys, the France is now again bringing a new entire bill to regulate the Islamism, and this is now considered as an outright interventions into the religious life, and therefore, guys, this particular matter is being boiled up. However, guys, the secularism of the France is partly responsible for this particular thing, and that we have already seen. So, guys, this is the entire matter which is going on here. So that's all. Now we'll be moving to the next article. Now, guys, this particular article has been taken from the Live Mint newspaper, and it is providing an excellent dimensions which could be directly utilized into our examination. It has talked about the idea of the modern monetary theory. Now, guys, this modern monetary theory has become very much popular into the West after particularly the Democratic contender Joe Biden had supported the modern monetary theory. Now, guys, what it is, I will explain you from the very scratch. See, post 2007 recession, a kind of a trend emerged where it was said that actually currency is a public monopoly. What it means? It means that the government which is printing the currency, it has absolute right over it, and whatever amount of currency it wants to print, it can print that particular amount of currency. It need not to take approval from anyone, or it not to be very much conservative in printing the new currencies. Now, guys, you know that in 2007 when recession was there was a call that the fiscal stimulus should be provided. Government should pump more and more money into the economy to revive the economy. So since then the modern monetary theory has become more popular. Guys, it has been said that always if a government needs money, it not need to raise the taxes and need to collect the money, rather go and print that particular money. And into this particular direction only, the USA had unveiled $2 trillion worth of clean energy plan. Now the idea of USA is this, that now the economy of their country is shattered, and by pumping such money into their economy, they will be reviving back the US economy. And for that, and these $2 trillion will directly be printed by the Federal Bank of US. Now, guys, not only the USA but into the UK, the modern monetary theory is becoming very much popular, and the Chancellor of Exchequer, they are now even exploring that the private sector should be paid by the government so that they don't fire their staff because of the economic recession that might be now following due to the pandemic. So, guys, therefore, all the countries are supporting this modern monetary theory where it has been said that no bar and print whatever money you want. Now, this particular thing has been attacked by the conservative economist who had often said that no, this is a wrong approach, because when you will be printing that particular money, obviously that money will amount as a debt to the government, and it has to be paid by the future generations, so it is not sustainable into the long term. Moreover, guys, see, there is a classic law of inflation. Whenever you will just print the money without having the equivalent level of production into your economy, what will happen? The extra money that has been printed, that will bring the inflation, and this particular thing will be much more problematic. And guys, when we talk particularly about the developing countries such as India, for them the modern monetary theory is not anyhow possible. Why? Because see, by following the MMT, obviously our debt will go high, inflation will go high, and guys, any country's valuation of a currency depends on to the sustainability of their economy. And if our economy will become a little bit unsustainable into the short term, what will happen? Our rupee will see a further devaluation, and because of that particular thing, the imports that we are making, the oil import, the electronic import, those imports will become very much expensive. So therefore the MMT is not a thing for the developing countries. Guys, it might be done into the USA, because USA has so much of the economic clout that they can afford such kind of shocks and can spearhead into this particular challenge. But guys, it has been said that if the modern monetary theory will become so much of the popular, then anyhow the developing countries such as India also need to adopt it into a limited format, and then it might lead to the Argentina quagmire. Argentina quagmire means a kind of a hazard that was there into the Argentina. Argentina faced the hyperinflation because they have done some such kind of things also. So therefore the developing countries will be compelled, but then it will bring the disaster. Guys, it has been said that what is the benefit of MMT? It has been said by the economist that by pumping so much of the money, you create a kind of a permanent 100% of employment. And see, always 100% of employment is far more beneficial to the country into the long term, because when your population is sitting idle, simply their talents are being wasted, their skills are being wasted, their attitudes are becoming decentralized. Therefore you just invest the money, bring more employment, and as this employment will be generated, the production will increase, and as this production will increase, you just withdraw this MMT, automatically the economy will be working into a better condition. It has been said that by printing more money, governments should go for the decentralized community based job creation policy. You create job into the clean energy sector, into the community asset, into the infrastructure, etc. Guys, it has been said that India, if it provides employment to the 400 million people who wants it, then $270 billion has to be spent by the government, and it is nearly 10% of pre-COVID-19 GDP. Now guys, obviously when all the people will be given employment, obviously they will receive money, and when they will spend that money, obviously there will be little bit inflation also which will be coming. But it has been said that that inflation can be controlled simply by increasing the taxes, and into the long term, when the economy will be coming into the self sustenance, this MMT can be withdrawn. Now guys, there are so much fascinations into the MMT, but there are both the challenges as well as prospects. However, the government need to make a calculated move onto this particular dimension. So guys, this was all about the MMT, a very good idea. Please do note it down, and a probable question can also be asked. So that's it. Now we'll be moving to the next article. Now guys, this particular article, I have taken it from the Hindu newspaper and from the Indian Express, and it is majorly talking about the annual status of education report 2020, which was released recently by the NGO Pratham. First of all, guys, yesterday, that is on 29th of October, we had discussed this entire ASAR report, where we had seen that now nearly 20% of rural children, they are not having the textbook. The 5.3% children are not enrolled into the school into the age group of 6 to 10 years. It shows that the gross enrollment ratio is going down. Moreover, guys, though people have now bought the smartphone, but still their learning is not commensurate, because simply they are not receiving the text, they are not receiving the assistance. So guys, already that we had discussed yesterday. Now guys, it is being said that into the light of annual status of education report, the grim reminder call needs to be given to the government. Government needs to do some urgent intervention into the education, because anyhow guys, seeing the persistent growth of COVID-19 and possibility of no vaccine until the 2021, it can be said that for a considerable time the schools will be closed. So the government needs to make an urgent interventionary call, that how the students can be provided the quality content, how the students can be provided the devices, and how the education can be provided in such a way that it doesn't hinders the years of the success that we had achieved. Moreover guys, it has also been seen that the children who have the parents who are educated up to the class 10th, they are having much more comfort, because from such parents they can take the guidance, they can take the assistance. Moreover, the parents also understand the type of problem that the students can face into the education, and therefore they are at a relative advantage when compared to the parents who are not educated. And guys, into this particular thing, a kind of again the digital gap or the learning gap will be built up, and it is not good for the sustainable education. So guys, just it has been said that the government should take the urgent steps into this particular direction. However, nothing more has been given. So guys, that's all about this particular article, and already as yesterday we have done it, so you might have seen all the facts which I had given. Guys, very important for our education, please quote the annual status of education report. So guys, that's all for today's discussion. I hope you are liking our discussions. Thank you so much.